Hey y'all, it's Melodye Reynolds. I am finally coming to you to start talking about thyroid issues. I'm going to tell you my story with my journey with hypothyroidism, why a lot of you probably have thyroid issues, but you're dismissing it as old age or you're just not as young as you used to be. We're going to get into all of that. I'm going to tell you my personal story. I have a blog post that you can go to that will give you all of the symptoms, so you don't have to remember everything here. So that's the good news. I am Melodye Reynolds. If you are new to my broadcast, I want to welcome you in and let you know who I am. I help women to take authority over their faith, their health, and their bank accounts. And I just help you to create a life full of purpose, because I think we should be purposeful in everything that we do, full of peace and full of passions. And make sure to say, hey, I like to talk to you. I like to be interactive. I get really bored if I'm talking to myself. And leave a comment. If you're new, please say new. Tell me where you're from. I like to see who I'm connecting with. We'll go ahead and jump into this now. I believe there's a lot of misinformation out there on, depending too much on other things. Sometimes we depend on our doctors too much, and I'm going to tell you this story and you're going to understand why you need to be your own health advocate. I teach people how to do that. It's important to me that we focus on our health, so I'm always sharing products and things that help me and what doesn't help me. So if you know of anybody who might have a thyroid issue, please do share the video, and then maybe this will help some of your friends. I'm going to be teaching you what the symptoms are, how you go to your doctor and really truly get diagnosed, because a lot of times this is missed. Mine was missed for almost 2.5 years. And it explains my life and all the things I've been going through. And I really wish I would have gotten the diagnosis earlier. So if I can save you some time with that, I'm going to show you exactly what tests, if your doctor won't take them for you and your insurance won't cover them, I'm going to show you in this series how, not tonight, but we'll get into that. I'm going to show you how you can order your own blood test online. It is not super cheap, but it's also not as expensive as you think. So I'll get into that. I'll show you, tell you exactly what the best labs are, how much they cost, where you can go. I'm going to walk you through this whole process that I have been through to try to get my life back, because hypothyroidism has stolen a lot of my joy, my energy, my vitality, my life. It's sucked the life out of me for the past 3 years, and it's pretty upsetting because I asked the doctors. Let's go ahead and get into my story. So when I was about 39 and a half, I started, and it's funny because I can look back on these videos and I started kind of talking about, because I do a lot of live videos on Facebook, and now I'm starting to do more on Instagram, but I do a lot of live videos. I still do. I don't know why I said used to. And I can look back and see me starting to talk about how tired I was and that I was getting older, and I felt like my hormones were off. And so I literally went to my doctor at 39. I was like, I feel tired a lot. Like, I'm still eating well. Nothing's really changed. I'm still working out, but like I feel like I crash after I work out. And she was like, well, you're getting older. It's probably nothing. Let's do a blood test. Let's check everything. Let's check your thyroid. Let's check everything. So like most of us, I was like, okay, doctor knows best. Took my blood. Everything was fine. There's not a problem. We don't really know what's going on. Just take care of yourself. I was like, okay. So when I hit 40, I just kept slowly, day by day, feeling a little bit worse. And I could not pinpoint what it was, but I just, like, my anxiety was starting to act up and get worse without any cause for that. Like, I didn't have this, life experience or some kind of big stressor, but I was having more trouble with my anxiety. I had gotten to the point where exercise just made me feel worse. And if you know me before this, I love to work out. Like, I have a basement gym. I have everything I need in my gym to work out. I like to go pump the music. I like to, I love cardio, which is a no-no if you have thyroid issues. But So this is going to be a longer broadcast, by the way, because I really feel like my story will bless you, because I'm going to go over the symptoms. I have a whole list of them. They're on my website at melodyreynolds.com. It has all of the symptoms listed there for you, but I kind of think you'll relate to my stories. And you know, I didn't think I had thyroid issues, because it's not really, I mean, I don't remember people in my family having thyroid issues. Like, it wasn't a thing. And I kind of thought, oh, that's for, you know, for somebody older than me. Like, I don't know why I thought that, but I just did. But she said my thyroid was fine. And that kept happening. I kept feeling worse. I kept going to her, and I'm like, I feel horrible. And more symptoms were popping up. And I'm going to go over the symptoms in just a minute, but they were things you would never connect to thyroid. Started gaining weight. That's a major symptom. Even though I was eating the same, I was still working out, even though I was crashing. I started to put on weight, and I was like, what is going on? I lost 54 pounds back in 2010, and I've maintained it all this time, and I know what I can eat, what I can't. I know how to take care of my body. So, and it was just creeping on me, like, no matter. So I started restricting my food and exercising more, and I felt like I was going to die. And I literally went back 3 or 4 times, and I finally told my doctor, I said, I feel like I'm going to die. And she said, and this was, by this time, I was already 40, getting ready to turn 41. And she said, well, honey, you are 40. Welcome to your 40s. Let that be a big red flag. Anytime any doctor ever says it's your age, that's nonsense. We are not supposed to feel bad because we are 40 years old. Our bodies were not designed to feel bad at 40, okay? You know your body. You need to speak up for yourself. And I kept doing that. I kept expressing to her, I don't feel right. I just don't feel right. Then I eventually had to give up exercising because I just didn't have the energy. Could not do it. And when I did, I would crash for days. So, it was bad. I was starting to get really depressed. And that is something I'm dealing with right now. Because I kept thinking in my mind, okay, well, I'm getting old. And the thought in my mind was, if I feel this bad at 40, I don't know that I really want to live to be like 50, 60, 70 years old. If this is how I'm going to feel. I kind of felt like, well, what's wrong with me that I can't fix this? Because she did keep testing my thyroid. And I will get into the tests that you need. But normally doctors will only check your TSH, okay? Your thyroid stimulating hormone. That is all they check, and that tells you jack diddly. It tells you nothing, okay? It literally, it's not even in the grand scheme of things. It's not even anything you should look at, because there are a whole bunch of other specific tests. Your TSH can be in their normal range, but that doesn't mean it's functional and optimal for you to feel good, okay? And I got a second opinion from another doctor that I used to see. And he's not even like a hormone specialist. He's just somebody I knew would listen to me. I went to him. I was like, I feel horrible and I can't continue feeling like this. I'm a homeschooling mom. I run a business from home. I'm a wife. I want to, like, I couldn't even go outside last summer and play badminton with my daughter and my husband, which is our favorite thing to do. We spend our summers outside in our little pool, and we play badminton. You know, we're always out there doing things together, water gun fights, things like that. I didn't have the energy. I watched them play. I had to sit outside and watch them play, and it broke my heart because I thought, this cannot be how the rest of my life is going to be. And my body just didn't feel right. So I was persistent, and I got the second opinion. He tested a little more. He still didn't do all the tests he should have, but he saw it enough to know with my weight gain, with my lack of energy, with my being agitated so much and feeling depressed and anxious and not being myself, he said, I think it's your thyroid. And he gave me a prescription. It was levothyroxine or whatever. He gave me that. I went home, and instead of taking it, I've learned now. I used to just come home and take whatever the doctor told me to do, and that's always caused me a lot of problems. Came home and I started researching, and I decided I'm not taking any medication until I fully research all of my options here and what I can do. I have invested in a thyroid program that I'm going through where she gives a lot of tips It's more of a holistic thing. I've talked with other doctors. I've talked with numerous patients. I've joined a bajillion Facebook groups that all are patient experience thyroid and adrenal groups, because I also have adrenal fatigue. And that I kind of thought I did before I found out about my thyroid. And there's a whole lot to do with your thyroid and your adrenals being together, because they're like best friends and they hold hands. When one falls, it pulls the other one down. So if you have a thyroid problem, you probably have adrenal problems. If you have adrenal problems, you're probably starting to have thyroid problems, okay? That's really important to know. I have both. So between the low iron, the adrenals, and the thyroid, that's why I felt like I was dying. Your body will send you messages and we ignore them, because I ignored them. I blamed myself, like, well, why don't I feel like going downstairs and working out? I have a gym downstairs. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to gain back all the weight that I lost, you know, way back in 2010. So, but I literally have spent a lot of time the past few months in bed because I completely crashed. But while I was in bed, I've been studying, talking to people, finding out a whole lot of what you can do naturally. Now, is this going to work? I don't know. But if I do have to take medication, there are natural forms of medication that you can take that a lot of people love better, because levothyroxine and Synthroid only give you T4 for your body, and your body needs, which is it's a thyroid hormone, you need T3 and T4 to feel good. Some of you all, I'll bet, let me know in the comments, do you know somebody that's been on thyroid medication and they still feel bad? You probably know somebody who's on thyroid medication and it's never made a difference for them. The reason why, it's the wrong kind. They want to give you one type of hormone when the thyroid needs different kinds of hormone. And until it gets it, you will not feel better. There's a slew of other things you can do first before you have to go on medication, and that's where I'm at. A lot of times, things like your iron being low, your magnesium being low, your all of your vitamins and minerals, right? Your zinc, your selenium, those are big ones for the thyroid. When those are low, sometimes bringing them up will help the thyroid to get a little boost and start working again. Sometimes you might need to go on that natural medication for a little bit, boost it, and then you can wean yourself off. There's lots of options besides just going straight to medication that's not helping people, okay? So it's really important to know. And I'm going to show you how to test to see what's going on in your entire body. I did all of these tests. It took me no time at all. It wasn't as expensive as you think, so I will be teaching on that. And make sure you are signed up to get my emails for this. So when I do a live video and I do a blog post, I will mail it out to you. So let's look at the symptoms really fast. And just so you know, I probably should have said this in the beginning, the thyroid is a 2-inch endocrine gland. So we're talking about the endocrine system. It's located here in the front of your neck. It stores and produces hormones that affect the function of virtually every organ in our bodies. This is important because when I give you these symptoms, these are my personal symptoms I had that I had no idea could be caused by thyroid, freaked me out. Because I would never have thought, oh my gosh, that's going on because of my thyroid. I'm going to blow your mind. I'm getting ready to blow it. Because the thyroid, again, it stores and produces hormones that affect the function of virtually every organ in our bodies. Your thyroid it does more than just regulate your weight. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, it affects your weight. It affects lots of things. I'm going to blow your mind. So thyroid hormone, which is T3, which is why those medicines don't work. They don't have T3 in them. Regulates our metabolic rate. So that's why I gained the weight. And is associated with modest changes. Modest, mine's extreme. I feel like it is. Body weight and energy levels. Energy levels has been extreme for me. So it's a big deal, okay? If you're, number one sign, if you have gained weight and it's not because you're binging on the couch with some Doritos and Coke, cola or whatever, your favorite things. If you're not doing that and you're still putting on weight, if you're still drinking your water and moving and nothing's really changed, but you're putting on weight, that was my first sign. And you will not lose that weight until you get your thyroid optimal, okay? And I'll teach about what that means, but you have to get your thyroid hormones at an optimal level, which is, it's not in the normal range the doctor will tell you. The ranges they tell you is what they deem normal for an average person. That doesn't mean it's the right range for you, and most of the time it's not. Okay? So if you're putting on weight and your doctor's like, well, you just need to work out, it may be more than that. See if you have some of these other symptoms. One of my biggest symptoms, let's talk about adrenals first, okay? Because they go together. If you have thyroid problems, you have adrenal problems. I started having extremely interrupted sleep. So I've never been a great sleeper. It has been a struggle my entire life. I had a lot of trauma in my childhood where nighttime meant violence. And so for me, that's when my anxiety kicks in, okay? It always has been that way. They call them, like, a lot of times people in the hospital or people in nursing homes have something called sundowners, and that's when people freak out at nighttime. I have those, okay? And so I've learned over the years lots of ways, natural methods to help me with that, okay? I was on sleeping medicine for many, many years. I still didn't sleep. But this got even worse. This was, every little thing woke me. I started waking up with horrible night sweats and my heart pounding around 2 or 3 a.m. every night. Completely wound up, wide awake, and could not go back to sleep until like 6 or 7 a.m., which is when I needed to be getting up. I went to the doctor and told her that, and she was like, well, let's do a sleep apnea test. And I said, I really don't think I have it. I don't snort. Well, if people can have it, let's go see. Went and had a sleep apnea test. Did not have apnea, but I was told that, and here's another symptom, my cells weren't getting enough oxygen. I later found out the thyroid's job is to do that for the body because it regulates oxygen as well in the cells. And so it was pointing to my thyroid, but I didn't know this. I just thought that's a weird thing that's going on in my body, and they really didn't offer me any information about it other than a name for it. And I went online, Dr. Google. I know people say, don't get on Dr. Google, but I'm like, I'm really happy for Dr. Google. I do know how to cross-check things to make sure that all the symptoms line up. Because you don't want to go to look up one thing and go, oh, that's me. I'm dying. I officially have Flergenbergen syndrome, right? You want to cross-check things. But I later found out when I really started studying my thyroid, it was pointing to my thyroid, okay? I had increased anxiety just all around, all the time. Started to have really anxious thoughts, worries, panic attacks, started those again. I haven't had those since I quit my teaching job in 2009, so that was major. Hot flashes, I used to laugh, and when the older people, when I was younger, middle-aged people, which I'm middle-aged now, would tell me they had hot flashes and they felt like they were melting, and I was like, oh yeah, it's not that bad, yeah, okay. Thought that I was going to melt from the inside out. And when I say night sweats, waking up completely drenched and having to change my clothes. Waking up and feeling like I had ran a marathon or been in the sauna for 2 hours. Sheets disgustingly wet. I mean, hair wet. I was having to wash my hair more often because I usually only wash my hair once a week. I was sweating so much, I couldn't wait once a week. So it was really bad. I crashed after exercise, okay? Like, I would work out my normal time, my normal way, doing what I do, and I couldn't do anything else the rest of the day. Nothing. I could not recover. And then it got to be, I couldn't do anything for a couple of days. Because when your adrenals are stressed and you exercise, you're putting more stress on them. If they're already stressed out, it ain't going to work for you. And it's not going to help you lose weight, okay? So let's talk about my hypothyroid symptoms. Now, there are 2 things that can go wrong with your thyroid. You can have hyperthyroidism. I don't have that. I do know a little about it. I'm only going to be talking about hypothyroidism because that's what I'm studying, because that's what I have. Let's just interrupt this broadcast with this message. I'm not a doctor. I am a mom and a wife and a friend and a business owner and a homeschooler who needs her life back. So I'm taking you on the journey with me and teaching you what I know in the hopes that I help somebody, because I sure wish somebody would have presented me with this information 2 years ago, okay? So I'm not going to diagnose, treat, or cure anything. I'm going to help you to have some information and apply it to your life and go, could this be me? Okay? So I don't want no lawsuits. I'm just saying. I'm here to help. I'm glad I'm not a doctor because I want to be able to talk to you like a normal person and give you little bits of information that you can digest, because it doesn't work when you get all this information at once. You just zone out. Trust me, that's what I did. I pray, and I know everything God leads me to, He knows I'm going to teach it and help and talk and talk and talk about it. God has called me to publicly share my life. It is not easy for me to always do that. But it is my purpose and my calling, and whatever He leads me to, I'm going to take you with me. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. All right, so let's talk about hypothyroid symptoms. The first one is very surprising: extremely red, dry, burning skin, and it started 5 years ago. Selah on that for a minute. I started having thyroid symptoms 5 years ago, but I didn't know what it was. I have just on my face extremely dry, irritated, very red skin. I have wonderful Savvy Minerals makeup from Young Living on my company that I love so much, and thank goodness for them, because I probably wouldn't be on here. I scare people when I don't have my makeup on because my face is so red. Because I'm so white, but then you'll see this red face and people think I'm dying, and I'm like, no, dude, it's my face. It's just, it's okay. So I started having that. I went to 4 dermatologists overall. I got took a bunch of tests. They really couldn't pinpoint it. I got rid of a latex mattress because I have a latex allergy. Thought it was that. Had to buy a brand new mattress. Lo and behold, when I started researching thyroid, this is a very common occurrence on the face. It can happen anywhere, but it's a very dry skin. Now my arms are dry and my legs are dry, but my skin on my face is the worst. Who would have ever thought that was thyroid related? Neither of my dermatologists said, have you tested your thyroid? Have you looked at that? It wasn't even, and when I see my dermatologist for my yearly checkup, I'm going to make sure that she understands this was thyroid related, because other people don't know that, and it was a big sign. So, and there's nothing I can do to help it until I get my thyroid. I'm hoping once I get my thyroid optimal, because it's not right now, that it goes away, because being a woman with something like this is extremely frustrating. Can any ladies feel me on that? The second one was fatigue, and when I tell you I'm fatigued, I don't mean I'm just a little tired. I mean it's no energy whatsoever. It doesn't matter how much I do sleep. When I sleep, I could sleep for 10 hours straight. I don't feel better. So it's like you sleep, but your body never repairs itself. It never restores. I think that we ignore how tired we are. And a lot of times you just push through being tired because most of us don't sleep like we should. Most of us don't, we're not always hydrating like we should. We get used to being really tired. Your body gives you messages. It's up to you to choose to listen to them or not. And my body is screaming at me. I have days, and I'm at a really, I'm working on my thyroid, but it is nowhere near optimal. I actually have to work on my iron first because it was so critically low. It was pulling my thyroid down. And I need to get my iron fixed, which involves healing my gut because I have leaky gut, and that's why I'm not absorbing all of my minerals. So I need to try to deal with my gut, get my minerals up, which that is a sign of hypothyroidism, is not absorbing minerals. So if you're low in your B and your iron and your D, I was low in all 3 of those, that alone will make you feel like you're dying, right? So I have to address those first. Just being anemic can make you feel exhausted. Just having a B deficiency can make you feel exhausted. Low D can cause depression. I had all 3 plus thyroid and adrenals. So it's been a living hell. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a living hell. But when I say exhausted, there's no feeling like you're ever renewed. You're never restored, okay? So if you just have been tired and tired and tired and tired and tired and tired, it's not that you're crazy, it's not your fault, it's not that you're lazy. It's that your body's telling you, ding, ding, something's going on. Okay, weight, I spoke about this earlier. Weight gain with no changes to diet and exercise. Dry eyes. So in the mornings when I wake up, my eyes, they're better now because I'm working on different things for that. But I had extremely, extremely dry eyes. Like, I started to wonder, was I sleeping with my eyes open? Because I have family members that used to sleep with their eyes open. And I was like, have I started that? Dry mouth. My mouth was dry all the time. I can look back when I was doing broadcasts and I can see where I'm like licking my lips because my mouth was like literally, it was so dry, it would shrivel. It was horrible. I was tested for sleep apnea, told you that, found out I wasn't getting enough oxygen. Low blood pressure. I have always had low blood pressure, but it's been lower because the thyroid helps to regulate that stuff. Low body temperature. So I have started taking my temperature every day so I can get an average each week of what my body temperature is. It is below normal, and that is a sign of hypothyroidism. So as I'm doing these things to try to repair my thyroid, I am watching my temperature to see if it goes up and stays up, okay? So low temperature, my doctor didn't catch that. She kept going, well, this thing must be broken. They would take my blood pressure, my temperature, and it was so low, they're like, what? I don't get it. Maybe this thing is broke. Now I get it. Intolerance to cold. So the past few years, just freeze to death in wintertime. It has to be about 75 to 80 before I actually feel good. That's not normal, okay? So if you're constantly cold and you have cold hands and cold feet, that is a sign of hypothyroidism. I need a blanket all the time. So I have night sweats and I'm freezing to death, you know? Hair loss. So I started losing quite a bit of hair, which for me was a huge, huge sign because I know my hair very well. And so I started losing a lot of hair. Since taking my iron, that has helped. I'm not losing as much as I was. But that was what made me go, I got to get on this now. Because, hello, I don't want to lose my hair, okay? Brain fog. When I say brain fog, I used to laugh when people talked about brain fog. I was like, yeah, brain fog. Brain fog is a real thing. I started forgetting words I should know, regular words. Like I would be talking and I'd have to stop and people would be looking at me like, you know how people do that? They're waiting for the next word. That was a big issue. I started having to write everything down. So yes, I do brain dumps and I always have Post-its and I have my planner, but it wasn't enough. I had to put reminders on my phone to do things. I had to, because I do run a business and it's growing. And so, praise the Lord. So I have things I have to do for that every day and homeschool. So I have had to really write things down. Simple things that I should always know to do. And this is what scared me. And you know, a lot of like dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that are related to minerals in your body being low. A lot of people see improvement when they eat a certain diet with that. But it scared me because I started thinking, am I getting Alzheimer's? Like, it was a thought I had. I'm going to be honest. I was like, oh my Lord, you know, I don't, this is not a road I want to go down. So brain fog is really bad. And I can literally feel it too on the days when my brain fog is going to be bad. I had this pressure back here. And I thought, oh, it's sinuses. But I had it for a year. So I can tell when I'm going to have a bad brain fog day. I literally feel it. I know that sounds weird. I kid you not. Difficulty concentrating. I kept telling people I feel like I have ADHD. I know what my kids in school used to feel like when they had ADHD. I couldn't stay focused. And if you know me, that's way a huge sign because I tend to hyper focus. So I just couldn't stay on one thing. I had a lot of anxiety. I have been dealing with off and on with depression and not really having a reason for it. I just have these periods where I'm, you know, weeks at a time I'm really low. Well, that's your minerals not absorbing, that's your thyroid not working, that's your adrenals not working. Depression is not always, oh, well, you know, you just need to do this and it'll be fine. You need to take a pill and it'll be fine. Sometimes you need to restore your body, your minerals, and give it what it needs, and then you'll be fine, okay? So don't beat yourself up if you're having depression. Talk about it. Get help with it. Seriously. Joint pain. So I have always had, you know, I've had arthritis, 10, 15 years. I was diagnosed with it pretty young. Worse. My hands were shaking all the time, so I have live broadcast I was doing, and I would hold something up and you can clearly see my hand shaking. And most recently, the most recent symptom I've had is my hands are falling asleep at night. Even though I'm not laying on them to make them fall asleep, they start going numb, and it takes me a while. And then the last big one I want to talk to you about is in the mornings when I get up, I was really struggling to wake up, and I still am, because it's not like you're just tired and foggy and sleepy. It's like you're coming out of a coma, or, you know, when they knock you out for a surgery, it's like coming out of that. It's a fight to wake up, and once I'm awake, it takes hours before I feel awake. And some days I don't at all. So I tell you these symptoms just so that you can have an idea. I don't think people realize all of that's connected to your thyroid. I had no clue that my face being red was my thyroid. That, you know, only thing I could think was due to my thyroid was weight gain, because that's the one everybody talks about. Nobody talks about all this other stuff. I want you to think about, you know, go to that blog post. They're all listed there for you. Really take a look and think, maybe I'm feeling crappy because I got something major going on. And I wanted to give you some, you know, a basis to think about. I pray that this blesses you guys. I pray that this helps some of you. Let me know in the comments, you know, like, do you have these symptoms? I always come back and check them. So are you having these symptoms? You know, have you had them in the past? Have you had your thyroid checked and they said it was completely fine? Let me know, you know, your story with it. Do you have someone that you know that's had it and they're not doing well? Any of that, okay? Make sure you go get signed up. Again, my website, MelodyReynolds.com. Sign up for the Thyroid Overcomers Academy. Put your email in, confirm your email, and then I'll email you all the blog posts. So the next time we meet, I'm going to be teaching you about what do you do once you know you have the symptoms. You're going to need to get tested. I'm going to show you how to do that and what tests you need. Okay? I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.